What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is May the 1st. I'm going to give you a quick pre-market update and talk on where big money is parking their money. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, you did have ADP non-farm employment come out better than anticipated. So 192 versus a forecast of 179. So that's helping recover the market somewhat. So it was very red, I guess, leading up to this data. And plus, aside from that, Biden did recently recommit on the whole EV tax credit. So I think that's generally a good thing for the market. It's definitely helping Tesla so far this morning. But you do also see on the flip side, the fear and greed index being at 39. So I think a lot of fear is just in the broader market, because there is one thing to note. I don't know if many people have caught on, but a lot of, for instance, the Mag 7 and a lot of other large institutions have all had good numbers in Q1, but they all gave very timid future guidance. So I think just the market is fearful right now, and plus with Powell coming out later today on the interest rate decision, it's a very interesting scenario. And so I think it is fair to assume there won't be any rate cuts or hikes this time around, but what is going to be said afterwards is going to dictate what happens to the broader market for at least the next week and a half. And so even though I do like to orient myself towards stocks as getting a lot of money pre-market, so that's obviously how I pick my stocks every morning, but like even in comparison to the last couple of trading days, the dollar value is just down massively. So you can kind of see just big money is somewhat hesitant about today. But regardless, starting off, SOFI. SOFI is down slightly, no news, no SEC filings. Shorts have really doubled the hell down over the last couple of trading days ever since their earnings, but 19.42% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 192.74 million shares overall are being shorted. So if Powell comes out and he is relatively hawkish, anticipate shorts just to give the middle finger to SOFI and just cause mass havoc, in my opinion. But right now with it at $6.73, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So in SOFI's case, you really want to watch for this 686 for it to kind of get above that. So that's going to be the next target, because if it does get above that, then there is some level of optimism and maybe opens the door for at least a recovery in the foreseeable future. But if not, and Powell comes out negative, then yeah, anticipate this S2 to be touched sooner rather than later. Moving on, Starbucks is getting massacred. So for those of you that do love dividends, this one might be a good one to kind of watch or add to your watch list. I actually did buy a couple shares, nothing really crazy, thousands of shares, but I did buy a couple because you can't go wrong. I don't agree with Starbucks, like their wokeness that they've been really doing over this last little bit, but I think companies are learning what they're trying to, like, how to accommodate for the general population, trying to find new target markets. So some companies make some mistakes, and clearly they shit the bed, pardon my French. It isn't heavily shorted, so only 1.65% of the free float is being shorted, so very low in that regard, but at the same time, it is at 52-week high. So that's, again, something to kind of consider. If you are looking at trading it, though, with it at $76.99, just to give you a quick overview, looking at the 1 week, $73 and change will be that next strong support. Vice versa, $84 will be that next strong resistance / target. I definitely do not see this S2 being touched or anywhere close to that today. If anything, it might orient towards this S3, but even in that regard, it is kind of extreme, so I don't anticipate even that being touched. So it might just kind of trade within this set range, but yeah, I think a lot of people really do like Starbucks, and maybe they just didn't like the price point at the $90 or possibly even higher. So maybe they might be buyers at this stage in the game. I'm not really sure, but let me know your thoughts on that. Amazon as well did have their earnings after hours yesterday. And so yeah, they, I think, generally had a fairly good, successful earnings, a little light on their future guidance, but again, I kind of already brought that up. And it's still not heavily shorted, so only 0.82% of the free float being shorted, so very small stuff. But if you are looking at trading it with it at 179 and change, it is between this pivot and this R1, so just watch for 177 to hold, and then 181 and change to be be that next target, which in my opinion, especially Amazon being Amazon, I actually do feel big money is going to push it towards this R1 today. And then, I don't know, dependent on what comes out from Powell, that could really cause some volatility, possibly push it to this R1 to the R2, or maybe a little bit lower to kind of the mid-range here. So still, regardless, a very interesting stock. This one has been on my radar for a while. And so when it did actually dip to this level and then it was abruptly halted, I actually did buy that day, made quite a lot of money. So I'm pretty happy with this. I have not held it on the long term. It was just simply a swing trade, but it's been getting massacred over this last little bit. So over the last 6 months, down 72.31%. It is up 18.87% because of this. So they're kind of talking on their strategic path to profitability. So I think a lot of value investors are gravitating towards this stock. So something to kind of consider. It is somewhat heavily shorted as well. So all-time high short interest, 11.27% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 77.36 million shares overall are being shorted. But of course, this isn't a squeeze play. I'm just bringing this up as a benchmark. If you are looking at trading this with it right now at $3.18, just watch for this 311 to hold and then 414 to be the next strong target. I don't anticipate this R1 to be touched. Rather, it might orient and kind of flirt with this pivot throughout the day. That's just my own opinion, not a financial advisor, of course. And finally, there is Marathon. So that is pulling back down 1.06%. No actual news to really justify that, other than Bitcoin falling. So I think over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has fallen about 9-10%. So kind of crazy stuff in that regard. This company is heavily shorted, so 19.25% of the free flow is being shorted. So do anticipate shorts to kind of increase their position today. It sounds like I'm losing my voice. It's kind of crazy, but it's kind of annoying as well, on a side note. But yeah, 19.25% of the free flow is being shorted. So this one is very popular among retail. So I think with Bitcoin falling, the whole halving didn't really go according to plan, and based on the historic kind of several events of it, it typically resulted in a spike, not in this case. So I think people are just kind of rotating out of miners and maybe into something else. But moving on though, right now with it at 1579 is trading between this S2 and this S1. So 1661 will be that next strong resistance point that you want to watch for it to get above. I don't really anticipate that being touched whatsoever today. And then vice versa, 1555 will be that next strong support. So definitely watch for that to continue to hold. So let me know your thoughts on the stocks I did bring up. Like I said, money is, or big money is getting into these stocks, but in comparison to the last several trading days, not so much. And as I've done, I like to kind of ask AI what the top picks are, whether it be long or short. And so it does say PCG long, so Pacific Gas and Electric. So you can always pause it and read through it, and it'll go over exactly what is and the reason why it is a buy or sell. StarBucks SBUX is a short. LI, so Li Auto, they did put out their numbers, I believe. Same with NEO, just NEO clearly wasn't, I don't know, it's not really getting that much volume. So LI is long, CVS is long, PFE is long, so Pfizer. And yeah, so those are the top 5 what AI says to play. And usually it's correct around 80% of the time. It did say long Tesla yesterday, and clearly that didn't really work out. But regardless, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 7 fractional shares of the MAG7. So pretty good deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.